The sky changed first. It was a normal morning. Birds were flying, cars were moving, people were busy with their daily lives. Then the clouds began to glow. Not with sunlight, but with a strange silver light. One by one, massive shapes appeared in the sky, blocking the sun like moving mountains. Across the world, people stopped and looked up. Thousands of ships floated above Earth. They were huge, dark, and silent. Some were shaped like long blades, others like giant rings. They covered the sky from horizon to horizon. Phones started ringing. Screens turned on by themselves. Every device showed the same message. This planet is now under the control of the Galactic Fleet. Surrender immediately or face total destruction. The message repeated in every language. In some cities, people screamed. In others, people filmed. Many thought it was a movie or a prank. Social media exploded within minutes. New Marvel trailer looks insane. Nice graphics, NASA. Finally, aliens. Took them long enough. In government buildings, leaders rushed into emergency meetings. Generals shouted orders. Scientists argued. But something strange happened. There was no global panic.
People were scared, yes, but they were also calm.
Some were confused. Some were laughing. Some were making jokes about it being the end of rent payments. Daniel sat in a small office at the Global Communication Center. He was a junior analyst, not important, not famous, just a quiet man who loved patterns and data. He stared at the main screen. The alien ships began their first display. A small moon near Earth suddenly exploded. It broke apart in perfect silence, turning into glowing dust. The alien message returned. This is a warning. Your weapons are useless. Your defenses are meaningless. Around Daniel, people gasped. But outside the building, someone live-streamed the explosion with background music. A famous streamer said, "Bro just deleted a moon like it was a bad tweet." Daniel frowned. He opened multiple data feeds. Emotional response levels. Social media reactions. News reports. Fear was present, but it was mixed with humor. Memes were spreading faster than panic. One showed an alien ship with a text, "When your boss threatens you, but you already hate your job." Daniel whispered, "They think fear equals control." His supervisor looked at him. "What? They're trying to scare us into submission. That's their strategy." Another explosion appeared on the screen. This time, a giant asteroid was sliced in half. The alien voice returned. "Surrender now." In a small cafe in London, people clapped sarcastically. In New York, someone sold end-of-the-world coffee at double price. In Tokyo, a man bowed politely at the sky. Daniel felt uneasy, not because of the aliens, but because they didn't understand humans at all. He zoomed into one alien ship. Energy readings were massive. Technology far beyond Earth. But the behavior was simple. Threat. Display power. Expect fear. Demand surrender. Daniel said quietly, "They think we are like them." The global leaders finally responded. A calm human voice was sent back. "We acknowledge your message. Please clarify your intentions." There was a long pause. The aliens were not expecting questions. They sent another display instead. A fleet weapon charged, glowing like a small star. The voice returned, more aggressive. "Our intention is domination. Your species is weak." Inside the control room, some people panicked. Outside, someone commented online, "These aliens sound like every movie villain ever." Daniel leaned back in his chair. He remembered human history.
Wars, plagues, disasters,
Economic crashes, nuclear threats. Humans had lived under fear for their entire existence. Fear was not new. Fear was normal. Fear was boring. The alien fleet fired again, destroying another object in space. The sky flashed. Daniel looked at the emotional data again. Fear level, rising. Stress, rising. But surrender probability, low. Very low. Instead, humor and curiosity were increasing. Someone sent a reply message from Earth. "Nice ships. How much fuel do those use?" The aliens did not respond. They increased their power output, making their ships glow brighter. The sky looked like a second sun. Daniel finally stood up.
They don't understand, he said.
Understand what? His supervisor asked. That humans don't respond to fear the way they expect. We don't freeze.
We don't bow.
We joke. We question. We adapt. The supervisor sighed. So what happens now? Daniel watched the alien fleet carefully. They will try harder. Outside, a billboard changed its ad to Alien Invasion Sale, 50% off everything. People took selfies with the alien ships in the background. Children asked if aliens had pets. Daniel felt a strange mix of dread and confidence. The Galactic Fleet had arrived to intimidate humanity, but humanity was treating it like just another strange day. And somewhere far above the Earth, in ships built for fear and conquest, the aliens were beginning to realize something unsettling. Their greatest weapon was not working. The explosions became larger. At first, the alien fleet destroyed objects far from Earth. Small moons, empty asteroids, frozen rocks drifting in space. Each time, they made sure humans could see it clearly. The light from the blasts painted the night sky with strange colors, like giant fireworks. The alien message returned again and again. Observe our power. Your world will be next. On Earth, people did observe, but not in silence. Millions of phones were pointed at the sky. Live streams flooded the internet. News channels showed the explosions with calm voices, like they were reporting the weather. In today's update, the Galactic Fleet has destroyed another asteroid. Experts say Earth is still safe for now. Someone added background music to the footage. Another person turned the explosion into a dance video. Memes appeared within seconds. One showed an alien ship with a text, "When you try to scare humans, but they start making edits." Emma sat inside a news studio in Toronto, staring at her screen. She had been a journalist for 10 years. She had reported on earthquakes, riots, and wars.
She knew panic.
This was not panic. The producer spoke in her ear. We're live in 10 seconds. Emma took a deep breath. Good evening, she said calmly. As you can see behind me, the Galactic Fleet continues its demonstrations of force. Scientists confirm that no damage has been done to Earth.
She paused.
And social media response remains surprisingly light. Behind her, a feed showed trending topics. Hashtag alien fireworks, hashtag end of the world but make it funny, hashtag nice try aliens. Emma switched off the mic and turned to her colleague. They think this scares us. He laughed nervously. It should. Emma shook her head. It would scare any normal species. But we aren't normal. She remembered history books, bomb shelters,
Cold War drills,
terror attacks, pandemic lockdowns, climate disasters. Humans grew up with fear. Fear was part of childhood. The alien fleet sent another message. Your lack of submission will result in extinction. Emma watched a live stream of a man drinking coffee on his balcony, alien ships floating behind him. He said to the camera, "If this is how I die, at least I don't have to go to work tomorrow." The video had 10 million views. Emma whispered, "They think fear means control. But for us, fear just means..." Tuesday. The aliens increased their displays. One ship fired a beam that carved a perfect line across a gas giant. The planet split slowly like butter. The sky glowed. The alien voice returned, louder. Tremble. On Earth, a popular account posted. Aliens, tremble. Humans, best we can do is mild anxiety. Emma felt something shift inside her. The aliens were not evil. They were confused. They had built their empire on one idea. Fear creates obedience. But humans were different. Humans had learned to live inside fear.
To joke about it.
To make art from it. To survive it. Emma went back on air. Experts suggest the Galactic Fleet is attempting psychological warfare. However, public reaction remains humorous. She smiled slightly. In other news, pet shelters report increased adoptions as people say, might as well take a dog if the world ends. Somewhere in space, inside a massive alien command ship, the fleet leaders watched Earth feeds. They saw humans laughing, dancing, selling merchandise. They saw no mass prayers, no screaming crowds, no surrender signals. One alien commander asked, "Why are they not afraid?" Another replied, "Perhaps they do not understand the danger." But Emma understood. She wrote in her private notes. They understand perfectly. They just refuse to let fear control them. The aliens fired again. Earth replied with another meme. And the misunderstanding grew wider. The alien fleet waited for fear. They waited for screams, for begging messages, for signs of surrender. Their ships floated in perfect formation, weapons glowing, engines humming with silent power. None of it worked. Instead, a new kind of message arrived from Earth. Not threats, not weapons. Questions.
Hello.
We are interested in your energy systems. Can you communicate how your ships travel faster than light? Do you require oxygen or another element for survival? The alien command center went quiet. One commander asked, "Is this a trick?" Another replied, "They are curious." On Earth, a special global channel was created. It was not a military line. It was a communication line. Michael sat in a small room filled with screens and cables. He was a systems engineer, chosen not because he was famous, but because he understood how complex systems worked. He looked at the alien signals. "They are not using fear weapons anymore," he said. "They are confused." A general frowned. "We should prepare our defenses." Michael shook his head. "We already are. But that's not what matters." "What matters then?" the general asked. Michael typed another message to the alien fleet. "We would like to understand your technology. Knowledge exchange may benefit both species." The alien reply was delayed. When it came, it was cold. "You are facing extinction. Why do you seek information?" Michael smiled softly. "Because understanding is more useful than panic." Across Earth, similar messages were sent. Universities offered research partnerships. Scientists asked about alien biology. Even artists asked about alien music. The aliens responded with more displays of power. But humans responded with more questions. How do you generate that beam? What materials are your ships made from? Is your culture based on hierarchy or cooperation? Inside the alien command ship, frustration grew. One commander slammed a tentacle on the control surface. "They should be afraid." Another said, "They are adapting." Michael explained it during a live broadcast. Humans are not the strongest species. We are not the fastest. But we adapt better than anyone. We learn from danger instead of freezing. A reporter asked, "So you're not afraid?" Michael paused. "Of course we are. But fear is not our final reaction. It's our first step." The alien fleet sent another message. "Your questions will not save you." Earth replied, "Maybe, but they will help us understand you." The aliens tried one last intimidation. They moved closer, much closer. The sky darkened as ships descended into low orbit. Cities were covered in shadow. People could see the details on the hulls. Scratches. Symbols.
Lights.
Instead of riots, something strange happened.
People waved.
Someone projected a giant smiley face onto a skyscraper. A school sent a message from their science class. "Dear aliens, what is your favorite element on the periodic table?" Inside the command ship, an alien officer whispered, "They are studying us." Another replied, "They are not fighting us." A third said quietly, "They are preparing." Michael watched the fleet from his screen. "They think war is about fear," he said. "We think survival is about learning." The alien fleet had come to conquer. But now they felt something new. Not fear. Not dominance. Uncertainty. They had never faced a species that tried to understand the invader instead of destroy it. And that confused them more than any weapon ever could. The alien commanders no longer used their weapons. They used data. Inside the main command ship, massive screens showed human history. Not just news, but centuries of records.
Wars.
Revolutions.
Plagues.
Famines. Collapses. Recoveries. The aliens had expected to see a fragile species. Instead, they saw a pattern. Humans fell. Humans suffered. Humans survived. Again and again. One commander pointed to a timeline. This species destroyed its own cities many times. Another replied, yet they rebuilt them every time. They watched footage of old wars. Soldiers fighting with poor weapons. Civilians hiding in ruins. Leaders making terrible mistakes. Still, humans continued. They studied pandemics. Millions died. The world shut down. Fear was everywhere. But humans adapted. They made vaccines. They helped each other. They joked about masks and lockdowns. They argued, but they survived. The alien commander said quietly, "Fear should have broken them." Another replied, "Fear made them change." They played recordings of disasters, earthquakes, tsunamis, nuclear threats. In every case, humans did not surrender to fear. They turned fear into action, into invention, into stubborn survival. The alien fleet finally understood. Humans did not see fear as the end. They saw it as a signal, a reason to move faster, think harder, try again. One alien officer said, "We rule our empire because our enemies fear us." The commander answered, "These humans do not obey fear. They grow from it." They looked again at current Earth behavior. No surrender. No worship. No mass collapse. Just questions.
Jokes.
Adaptation. The commander whispered, "They are unpredictable." Another added, "They cannot be mentally dominated." For the first time, the Galactic Fleet felt something close to respect. Not for human weapons, but for human minds. The fleet had come to conquer. But now they realized something dangerous. Humans were not afraid of the dark. They were used to living inside it. The first sign was silence. No new explosions. No new threats. No glowing weapons in the sky. The alien ships stayed still for a long time, floating above Earth like frozen shadows. People waited for another warning, another display of power. Nothing came. Inside the alien command ship, the final decision was made. The commander looked at the data one last time. Human reactions. Human history. Human behavior. "This species cannot be ruled by fear," he said. Another officer asked, "Are they a threat?" The commander answered, "Not because of weapons. Because of mindset." A final message was sent across the alien network, far beyond Earth. Report: humans are unstable under threat. They do not submit. They adapt. They joke. They study the enemy. Psychological domination is ineffective. Then the retreat began. One by one, the ships pulled back. Engines glowed softly as they moved away from Earth. The sky slowly returned to its normal color. Stars became visible again. On Earth, people noticed. Social media exploded again. Aliens said nah and left. Scared the wrong species. Guess we passed the vibe check. Emma watched the ships disappear on live broadcast. "Well," she said calmly, "it seems the invasion has ended. No peace treaty. No war. Just confusion." Michael stood in the control room, watching the last signal fade. "They didn't lose," he said. "They just realized they picked the wrong strategy." A reporter asked him, "So, what did we do right?" Michael thought for a moment. "We didn't pretend we weren't afraid. We just didn't let fear decide for us." Life returned to normal surprisingly fast. Flights resumed. Schools reopened. People went back to work. New jokes replaced old ones. Someone sold t-shirts that said, "I survived the alien invasion, and all I got was this shirt." Children asked if the aliens would come back. Parents said, "Maybe. But if they do, we'll handle it." The invasion became a story. A strange week in history. A reminder that fear did not always mean defeat. And somewhere far across the galaxy, the Galactic Fleet updated its rule of contact. Never try to scare humans. They will only laugh and learn.